All right, we are recording. So I'm so excited, you guys. For those of you that weren't on, I think it was last week, I shared that June 1 through June 21st, if you enroll 4 coaches to your team and help 1 coach get to Emerald, that there will be drawings for gift cards. 5 $50 gift cards, and then if you are the only person that makes that happen, then you get all 5 of the gift cards. So just wanted to share that, start with that. But today we have a guest speaker. If you guys don't know Dara, she is a superstar diamond coach, which is obviously, most of you all know that that's the top rank in the company. And I had no idea who Dara was. We both were at the same superstar weekend. So when you advance to superstar, they usually do something special. In that round, there were 15 of us, something. There were a lot. So we got this special weekend and I don't even remember where we were, but it was this, do you remember?
Somewhere along the coast in California. I don't remember, no.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was this huge resort. We got massages and all these special dinners with Carl and Jeff, and it was amazing. But hit it off with Dara and her husband. Paul and I did, like, right away. And the more I learned about her story, what I love is that the amount of time that it took her to get to Diamond is the amount of time that it took to get to Superstar Diamond. And why I think that's so incredible is a few things. One, I think sometimes if people don't see immediate success in their business, they don't keep showing up to figure it out. And she did. And obviously, like, yeah, Superstar Diamond in a relatively short amount of time, when you look at how many Superstar Diamonds there are in our company, Dara showed up to figure it out even when she didn't have the results in the beginning, which I think is so powerful. And I also have to share, if you guys haven't seen in Ignite Your Life, I shared a couple things today. One is Katie Garbett's income. And I love it because she earned, in her first week in coaching, she earned $387. In her first year, but that same week, she earned like $400 and something. The next year in the same week, she earned $250. So her income actually went down. And then this year in the same week, her income was over $1,400 for the week. And I love that because, again, that is when people start doubting. That is when they don't show up to figure it out. And this business can change your life, but you have to be willing to do the personal work to figure it out. And Dara's done that. So she's a perfect person to speak to Diamond. And now I'm going to be quiet and let her take over. She's one of my favorite people, and she's also a mom. So Dara, thank you for taking time to be here with us.
Christy, thank you so much for inviting me to spend some time with you. I am excited for this today. It is a topic I'm passionate about. I have slides, so do you mind if I share the screen on my end? Okay. I am okay, put together here today. Let's see. Present. Okay. Let me see. I can get screen share. It says host disabled attendee. Yeah, Christy, can you hear me? I can't hear her now. Oh, I think she's muted.
I'm muted, sorry.
Oh,
Multiple participants. Here, see, does that work?
Let me try. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Like I said, I am excited about this topic because of just my own experience, like Chrissy said, in my coaching journey. I've almost been a coach for 10 years, which is just kind of crazy. A lot of life has happened in there. I mean, gosh, hasn't a lot of life happened in the last 6 months? Holy cow. But you think about over the last 10 years, a lot of life has happened. And, I want to share, just like Christy said, I was not the get out of the gate, just crush it, goal getter. It took me, in fact, right here on my wall, I have the certificates that Beachbody sent me. My husband had them framed because it was so monumental. I was struggling to get to diamond for 27 months. It took me. I was an emerald right off the bat. In fact, I signed up my mom and my husband. And then throughout that time, you know, I had friends join me. They came and they went, but I still have my mom and my husband, which are coaches in my organization. But it was such a big deal that he had them framed and they're in our living room because of the time it took. It was such a big accomplishment, 27 months. And then I've had coaches hit it, my personally sponsored coach, Danielle, hit it in 27 days. And so that's why I think it's so important to learn from those that have gone ahead of us, because then you can ask yourself, and what I shared today, what are some small tweaks that I can make in my business right now that are going to make the biggest impact? Because I believe, they used to say knowledge is power, but I actually believe it's knowledge plus action. Knowledge plus action is power. Because this is the thing, you know, that I hope that you see in these push groups. And like Chrissy said, these opportunities to network and to build these relationships are so powerful. That's how I met Chrissy at that intimate superstar day, but you can do the same thing in these push groups. And what an opportunity to just have people in your life, to surround yourself with people in your life who are running alongside you, who have big goals and aspirations. One of the things that I admire about Chrissy is the way that she leads. Like, we all have the same recipe, right? It's the vitals. The same for all of us. It's the same model for diamond, right? It's the same model for superstar. It's the same exact ingredients that we need to get there, but we approach it differently. And how cool is that you can learn from others because they have different strengths, they have different experiences they bring to the table. And I always reach out to Chrissy and ask her, so what are you doing now with your team? And I can infuse some of those pieces to make me a stronger leader. And so I hope in this push group, you use this as an opportunity to network. If you see someone who gets those $50 gift certificates because they're recruiting, reach out to them, build that friendship, ask them what they're doing. Just always stay hungry to have those relationships and learn from other people. That to me is one of the biggest things, is like, we don't just do business with these people, we end up doing life with these people. And some of these have become some of my absolute best friends in the whole entire world, because we do get to do life. And so I hope you really dive in to the relationships and the people that are in this push group and learn from each other. So like I said, knowledge plus action is your superpower, right? Learn from those that have gone ahead of you, ask the questions, and then implement things that you learn into your business right away. So I was one of those people, maybe on paper, it looked like I had everything, right? I had the college degree. I went on to pursue and attain a master's degree. I then landed a job eventually. It's kind of when the market crashed back in 2000, after 2008 time era. And I finally landed a job at the university doing research. So with all of those, the education, right, 6 years, 4 years undergrad, 2 years of grad, and about $80,000 in student loan debt, I landed this amazing job at the university for $32,000. And my husband also had a college degree, but because we needed the extra $200 a week with his shift differential, we needed him to work nights. We needed him to work nights, holidays, and weekends. So we were ships passing the night. By the time I went to go to work, he was sleeping off the night shift. By the time I got home, he was already gone. And on top of that, we were barely making ends meet. I mean, you think about, like, we just had gotten married. We just bought our family home, like our kind of forever family home. And we were barely making ends meet. I remember going to the grocery store. At this time, we could still write checks. And, being able to write a check that I knew we didn't have the money in there because it was a few days before it cleared. I remember swiping my card and the woman at the checkout saying, "It's been declined." I remember we were waiting for that tax return. I don't get those anymore. But now I realize, like, I used to wait an entire year for a tax return, a little small tax return, when I realized I could really just change the way that went down. But I was so excited for that tax return because that meant that we could actually buy furniture for our first daughter. And we were waiting on that for months and months because she was born in July. So it was literally down to the wire of being able to get that tax return and buy the essentials that we needed for our first baby. And I was on my way to work, and I realized that some of the parking tickets that followed my husband, they took that money. We didn't get it. And I just remember bawling, like, I'm pregnant. All the emotions are running through me, and I'm waiting on this thing that I thought could just be really huge for my family, and we didn't get it. And I just remember, like, that was kind of my breaking point. I thought, this is it. Like, I'm suffering so much inside, right? I don't get to see my husband. I'm going through my pregnancy by myself, all the baby kicks and all those fun things that you get to experience with your spouse. I didn't have that. I would go to bed every night by myself. I would cry myself to sleep. Our marriage was on the rocks because you put like no time together plus financial stress, just really at a very dark place. And my coach, after watching her for an entire year, it's kind of like that whole ready is a lie. Because if I waited to feel ready, I'd never be here. I got to that point where it was like I really had nothing to lose. I saw her achieve everything that I wanted to achieve, but I was too scared to take action. So after a long year of dragging my feet, you guys, watching her do what I wanted to do, I finally jumped in the field, out of the stadiums, the nosebleed, and into the field of my own life. Because I was so sick of working for a 2-day weekend and struggling financially and not seeing my husband and thinking about our future, starting to think into the future just a little bit, right? All I could think about at that time was to getting to tomorrow, right? Barely surviving. I started getting excited about the future. I started seeing what was possible through the lens of coaching, through this platform. And I wanted to be an example for my daughter. How could I tell her that she's capable of achieving everything she wanted if I wasn't even willing to do it myself? So I wanted to be the person that showed her what it looks like to achieve goals, to fall down and stand back up, to fight for what you want, to develop that discipline, develop that resiliency. Because whatever you want it's worth that effort. But you got to get in there and you got to work for it. She sees me mentoring women on calls like this. She sees me miss goals. She sees me get announced at Summit on stage. She sees all of this happening behind the scenes. She sees me working out, working for my goals. She sees all of those things. That's the example I wanted to be. I mean, if you're a mom, you can't just tell them. You have to show them. They're going to do what we do, not so much as what we say. I know that from my personal experience with my mom, right? Like being a teenager and just so defiant. Like I knew that I was going to have to just you're going to have to do, you have to expect that your kids are going to do what you do. Right. So I jumped in, I'm kind of the coach that I was committed from day one, and I tried everything. I joined these groups that was all the different teams would just come together and create these groups to learn from one another. Cause there wasn't much guidance in the beginning. And so I would join these groups and I would see someone doing a fit club. And that's how they grew their coaching business. So I started a fit club. And then I saw someone do like a nonprofit, like Boys and Girls Club. So I set up meetings with Boys and Girls Clubs. I hosted home parties here at home. I tried everything. I was willing to just get in and figure it out. And none of it really worked. Because I think I was missing some key elements, right? I was a heavy retailer. Like I said, it took me 27 months to get to Diamond because I was not talking about the business. I was not embracing the business side. I was thinking like a retailer, right? And I was making good money retailing, probably about $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which was huge for my family, like huge. I mean, that changed things. That changed the game. That was life-changing and life-giving for us. But I was one person. I could only go so far with retailing. But I thought because I didn't have business success that I couldn't talk about the business, right? And I was stuck in this mindset when I was pregnant and building this, like, how can I coach people if I'm going the other way, right? I went to gain 64 pounds. I gained a lot of weight. And I had a really, really traumatic experience with the birth and the C-section, a lot of like long recovery. And I thought that I had to maintain this image of perfection. In my mind, coaching meant that I had to be on my game. So I didn't talk about my struggles with emotional and binge eating, around having a mom that was morbidly obese my whole life and picking up some of those habits. I didn't talk about, some of my goals and my dreams. I held back for so long because I thought I had to maintain this perfect image. And what really people connect to is the struggle. They connect to someone being real and being like, you know what, I've been there. I've walked those shoes. this is how I've come out of this, right? We have these solutions that so many people need, but unless we're willing to like unload that and share that, how will people even relate, right? It's not the perfection. It's being willing to be vulnerable and share, like walk out your journey of like, this weekend I binged too much, you know, but I have the tools to get back on. Being able to just open up and be real and raw about some of my struggles, some of my darkest times is what allowed people to connect to me. I remember one coach, her name was Mariana. She finally joined me after 4 years. She's like, Dara, I remember like you saying that you were going to retire your husband. I remember you said you were going to quit your job and you were going to retire your husband. You were going to do all these things. And I watched you for 4 years go after and achieve them, right? It took me 4 years to quit my job, to retire my husband and bring him home so that we could be a full-time family, to pay off all of our debt, our student loan debt, $100,000 in credit card and student loan debt. 4 years she sat back on the sideline watching. And it was having that belief before the success followed. And so I had to have where did the picture go there? $1 million mindset, right? If I wanted to build $1 million business or $1 million legacy, I had to have $1 million mindset. I had to believe that I could build a team before I had the team. I had to show up as the diamond coach before I was the diamond coach. I had to act like that superstar diamond coach, think like her, talk like her, act like her, believe like her, have the posture like a superstar diamond coach before I even got there. Before I had any track record of success, I was blasting out where I wanted to go with this business. And so that's what I want for you. I want you to think about what do you need to do differently in your business to get you to that next level? What are some tweaks that you can make right now in your business that's going to help you get there? And so, like Chrissy said, I tried a lot of things that didn't work, but I was willing to just get back up and try something else. Baby month, I remember, like I said, I was part of those groups with other leaders. I was so hungry to just network and find other coaches that were willing to run alongside me that I partnered up with 5 other, well, it was me plus 4 other random women. I had no clue who they were. We were all from different teams, and I got myself on my first team cup. It was the month that I had my daughter. It was in July. And I remember getting on that call and having contractions. Like, that's how committed I was from the beginning. Like, even though I tried all the things and kind of went through it in a backwards way and really didn't dive in and embrace the opportunity, I still was willing to just show up and try to figure it out. And I met, like I said, I met Chrissy, I met Leslie, people who were willing to run alongside me. Leslie, she and I have been connected since the beginning. That was July of my first year. And she was always a few steps ahead of me. And that's what I talked about on the call. Surround yourself with people who are a little ahead of you that you can learn from and run with if you have that competitive streak like I do. But I remember she went to Summit as a diamond and I wasn't quite there. And I was so like, oh my gosh, I'm never coming back to Summit without that little diamond lanyard and without that knowing all the heart and hustle I was going to put in that next year to go back as a diamond coach. She hit superstar right before me. I was right behind her. Million Club right behind her, right? She was always a few steps ahead. And I think that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who are on that same wavelength, right? Who have that like hustle, who are willing to put in the work. And I really started setting from that time non-negotiables. I just had my 100th month in success, consecutive month in Success Club. So I just made that in the very beginning, just those non-negotiables. Decide what it is that you want for your business that you're absolutely not willing to negotiate, that are just, they're not an option, right? You're going to make them happen. In the beginning, it was help 3 women. And then the next month, I was like, you know what? That's not enough for the goals that I have. I know that I have to set some bigger goals. And so I made it a goal to help 5 women every single month. And so 100 months was this month. And so, set those non-negotiables for you. Every night in my phone, I have, don't go to bed until you've done your connecting and your inviting. Like, don't you dare go to bed, right? Make sure that you can be proud of what you did each day. Because if your coaches did what you did today, would they be successful? How could I attract coaches and mentor coaches if I wasn't willing to do what I was asking them to do? And so every night at the end of the day, if my coaches did what I did, would they be successful? So I started asking myself that, and I put reminders, and I had my vision very clear in front of me of what I wanted. And then I just started embracing the business because, like I said, I'm one person. I could only do so much as a retailer. I was like working my booty off, and I'm like, what the heck, man? I started thinking like a business owner. I started talking about the business and what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go with it, right? I think so many times we think because we don't have success, we can't inspire people, but it's with your vision that you inspire people. Tell them where you're going and start using success stories from your team, right? Every month, every week, I see what Ignite Your Life is putting out there. Like, use some of those success stories as proof that this works. It doesn't always have to be your own. You guys are an amazing team. Use those success stories until you really start to create them within your own like within your team. And so, you know, I just shattered my own glass ceiling, right? I went from my first year, I made $6,000 that year to, you know, almost $500,000 on year 6. And treating this really like I did a four-year college degree. I know they used to say be here a year from now, but I really say, you know, be here 4 years from now. You know, what you're able to accomplish with this business, there's no way in heck with my full-time job I would ever come close. Ever. I mean, I never made, when I left, I was making 40,000. And what it's been able to do for my family, like I said, I brought my husband home from a job he hated, saved our marriage. We're hands-on with our kids. No one is raising my kids but us. Like, I used to get pictures from my dad. Thank God he had lost his job during that time. And so he was with Sienna in between the time that I got home from work and Ryan left. And so I would get pictures of her first, right? Her first words, her milestones from my husband or my father. And I knew by the time we had baby number 2, I wanted to be home. And we were able to make that goal happen 4 years in. So, you know, I want to take us through a little exercise, because this is what I want you to come in when you sit down to work your business. This is what I want you to come in with. Write down what life was like before coaching. And if you don't have enough time to do it today, I want you to do it, because this is such a powerful thing that you should use in your life. When you bring the energy into your business, when you bring your energy into your connecting and your inviting, I want you to think about this gift, right? What was life like before coaching? And I want you to write it on the left side of a paper. For me, like I've already said, right? Marriage on the rocks, struggling financially, going to bed alone, crying myself to sleep, getting pictures of first from my dad or from somebody else, not being there with my family, right? Like having my card be declined. Like, those were all things before coaching. Binge and emotional eating over and over and over, the constant start and stop, right? Coaching held me accountable. It was like some skin in the game to figure this out and not struggle with that anymore, to get out of my own damn way, to surround myself with people who force me to level up and start dreaming big again, right? Stop working for a 2-day weekend. And so I want you to write down all of those things. And then I want you to write down where you are now because of coaching. You already have a success story. The day one that you become a coach, you have a success story, and you already have tools and knowledge in your tool belt that are more than other people out there have. And so I want you to write down on the right side of the paper, where are you now because of coaching? And I want you to look at this every day as a reminder of how far you've come with this opportunity. And then I want you to write down, where are you going with this opportunity? And be loud about that. Share that. Let people know, because people want to be around the person that is convicted in what they're doing. People can sense that. I heard Lindsay Matway say one time, like, she wrote a post and just wasn't in it. And it was just a text post, but she's like, I got 0 response from that because people could sense my energy. And she's like, the next time I posted, it was like, I felt it. I was living it. I was real and raw with my emotions. And she's like, the post went nuts. People can sense that, and people want to be around someone who believes in what they're doing. And so when you come into your business, have this in front of you, have this vision for where you're going and how much this has blessed your life. When you're inviting someone to this, remember this for your own life, how it's been a gift. And then talk to the people out there that need this. You want to be loud and bold around what you're doing, right? Just like I said, people want to be around that. And start to create confidence through your daily habits, right? Because you're going to miss goals, right? And so instead of being so tied to the outcome, fall in love with the daily process. Fall in love with the person that shows up no matter what. Fall in love with the person that, like, when the motivation isn't there, has the discipline to just show up anyway. Fall in love with the woman you're becoming, you're growing into, because you're just going boldly after your goals. Fall in love with that. I love what I do. I get to, even 10 years later, I'm passionate about sharing this gift and waking up to do what I want to do. Otherwise, I would be, it's summer break, my kids would be with my parents, and I would be sitting behind a cubicle. I get to do this. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. And that's what you want to fall in love with, is the process of just building your dreams, about the person that you're becoming through this process of growth and figuring it out. And expect roadblocks, sister. There's going to be roadblocks, right? I've had so many, but expect those to happen, and think about, like, be the person that's just going to keep pushing on, right? Like I said, coaches have come and gone, coaches have, quit on their dreams, but I couldn't let that affect me. I had to keep going. And so know that that's a part of the process, and just expect that, and learn to, like, get back up and fight back for what you want. And just know, like, if you are all in this, that there is no plan B for your A game. To me, there was no other option. It wasn't like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like, oh, if this doesn't work, I'll just go back to my cubicle job. Like, there was no other option. This was it, baby. I was going all in, and I was going to stick with it as long as I needed to. And I'm still here 10 years later, and I'm going to be here another 10 years later and another 10 years later. So many coaches that left have come back to me because I'm still here, right? That's who people want to be around. That's who people want to be led by, is the person that is all in on their dreams. So don't take your foot on the gas. Here's the book that I was reading. No plan B for your A game. Really good book. So what is the thing that I did? Yes?
Who was the author of that book?
Oh, sorry. Bo Eason, ex-football player. So one of the shifts that I made in what I was doing daily in my business, instead of just talking about the fitness, I talked about coaching. And I was in the trenches talking to people about coaching all the time. And so one of the biggest things that I heard from I don't even remember, maybe Janelle Summers, is to ask, have you ever considered doing what I do? And so I always start off with a compliment. Why am I coming to them with this gift? Why do I think of them? I just shared the other day, like, I went to this woman, every time she pops up in my feed, I'm like, gosh, she's a woman I want to be around. Those women that just exude that positivity, that confidence. And I reached out to her and I said, every time you pop up in my feed, I think, gosh, you're a woman I want to be around. I love your positive vibes. I love the way you own your womanhood. I just have to ask, have you ever considered doing what I do? And then you give them an out. You know what? If it's not for you, no worries. I thought I would at least try to open up the conversation. So get out there and have those conversations, right? Because like I said, on paper, I wasn't someone that you would invite. Christy, I've heard her talk about this, right? She had a degree in finance. Why would anyone think that she would need the coaching opportunity, right? But someone had the belief in what they were doing and the belief in Christy that she could be successful with this. And so you got to get out there and you got to share this gift. And if someone tells me no, I ask for referrals, right? Hey girl, I know you're rocking out life and thriving, but I was wondering, do you know someone that is looking to do something a little different? Have an impact while creating another income stream? I'm really focusing on connecting with women that might be a little frustrated with where I was, but hungry to find a solution that is built on purpose. Would you know anyone like that? Ask them. And a lot of times I've asked and they're like, that's me. That's me. I'm that person, right? But just get out there and have those conversations. Because, if someone wouldn't share this gift with me, I can't imagine where my life would be. It makes me emotional thinking about where I would be. I know Christy can attest to the same thing, right? Someone wouldn't have shared this gift with her. So get out there and do your coaching advice. Set a goal for yourself. I'd love for you to drop in the comments, what is a personal goal you have to invite to the business? How many people do you invite and how often? Are you inviting 5 days a week, 7 days a week? How are you leveling up in that area? How many coaching invites are you striving for? I know Christy, last time I heard Christy present, she does kind of bulk inviting. And the same for me, right? Because when I can power through 40, 50, 60 invites, I have people responding back versus if I did like 2, 3, 4, 5 a day. I don't get much response there. So it's always nice. Like when I have a bunch of outgoing, I always have a bunch of incoming. So set a goal for yourself. How are you leveling up in this diamond push? How you should know your numbers, right? If you know that it takes 20 conversations to get a yes, and you want to sign, how many coaches did you say, Christy, in to get the gift card? If you need to hit that, how many invites do you need to have? And another thing that I think is overlooked is the follow-ups. Don't be the one that, like me, that had to learn from personal experience that I didn't follow up with someone and they went and crushed the business with another team. Don't let that be you. 80% of sales happen between the 5th and 12th reach out, and 90% of people don't even follow up. So there's 8 to 10% of people that are actually getting the sales because they have the follow-up system, and they understand that this is such a gift that people get busy, right? They understand the follow-up is their business. People don't join me the first time. I want to ask you, how many times were you invited before you said yes? Because it took me a freaking year. That's a lot of follow-ups, and she didn't ever give up on me. So for you, how many times did your coach have to ask you? That's what it takes, right? People most likely do not say yes on the first time. Maybe one in like 100. So be the person that follows up and let them know, hey, I thought of you. You know, I hope that, you know, my last message, one of my coaches, she uses this follow-up. I think it's really cool. I hope my last message didn't create any awkwardness between us. I'm so passionate about who I surround myself with that I wanted to open up that conversation around coaching. But if it's not for you, I totally get it. And then you could default to the referral, right? Or follow up like, hey, I know that we talked about coaching and maybe it wasn't the right time, but I wanted to let you know I thought of you. I know that you're going to be a tremendous asset to our team. I know that you're going to freaking love this just as much as I do. I wanted to see, you know, is now a better time to chat about it? Do you have time to hop on a call? Follow up is your business. So don't be the person that misses out on the next superstar on your team. The next thing that I learned is to always stay in phase one. And I learned this from the hard way, right? A lot of times we have to learn through just personal experience. As an Emerald, I heard about 95% of your business hours should be spent building your business, and about 5% mentoring. And I think even as a superstar, I don't know, you let me know, Christy, I can't see the chat when I'm doing share, but like, how much would you say you break up between mentoring your team and staying in phase one? I think about 50, maybe even 60% still staying in phase one, 40% mentoring. Never ever leave phase one. Because like I said, coaches have come and gone. Coaches have even come back. But if you wait and put all your eggs in one basket, you're not going to have a business. I don't know if you've heard, what got you here won't get you there. The people that got me to superstar are not going to be the people that get me to the next level. You got to stay in phase one. You got to stay consistently recruiting and building leaders every single year. I heard someone say their goal is about 5 new leaders a year on their team is what they like to develop. So stay in that phase one, okay? Don't ever let that phase go, because that's when your business will really take a hit. And so I want to end with this. A coach believed in me, just like the same way a coach believed in you. That's why you're here. And when you ever think that you're not making an impact, just remember that you've at least helped one coach. You've already changed someone's life by sharing this gift with them. And if you ever question your ability to, sorry, I'm trying to stop my share. Sorry, I wanted to read a little quote to you. Sorry. Oh, did you stop the share? Okay, thank you. I wanted to leave this with you. If you're not sure of the impact that you're making in this world, it's the starfish story. And it says, an old man had a habit of early morning walks on the beach. One day after a storm, he saw a human figure in the distance moving like a dancer. As he came closer, he saw that it was a young woman, and that she was not dancing, but she was actually reaching down to the sand, picking up a starfish and gently throwing it into the ocean. And he said, young lady, why are you throwing starfish in the ocean? The sun is up and the tide is going out, and if I do not throw them, they will die. But young lady, do you not realize there's miles and miles of beach and starfish all along? You cannot possibly make a difference. The young woman listened politely, paused, and then bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it into the sea, past the breaking waves, saying, well, it made a difference for that one. And I don't want you to ever underestimate. You hear the success stories, how this has made a difference in your life. Don't ever underestimate your power to change someone's life. That's all you really need to go out there, is with that conviction and that belief that this can change someone's life. And you're a rock star. I believe in all of you guys. Thanks, Christy.
Thank you. I have so many chills right now. That the ending I think is so powerful, especially right now in the way we show up, because you can see all the judgments out there that create anxiety, that create fear. And we do that ourselves daily, no matter what's going on in our nation. Like, we create fear, anxiety, and doubt in ourselves because we have one person respond negatively to a way we invited them, or we have one person respond negatively to something we posted. And being able to say, like, that's okay. That's not a personal thing. They're struggling in some way, and their struggle has now been taken out on me. And they're still, for that one person, guys, there are actually thousands of people that are looking for what you have. Like, safe to say, even millions of people that are looking for what you have. But if we allow that one person to stop us, we're not able to have an impact on those other. And it just takes one person. There's that one person that's looking for what you have, but we can't slow down. We can't stop. We can't shrink because of what the other people might think. Right. So I think that I love this story at the end, because that's one of my favorites, the starfish. I think the first time I heard it was from our CEO, which is so cool. Or it was from maybe Jeff, but yeah. Do you guys have any questions for Dara? That referral, I took a screenshot of that. That one was so good. I love
Good
that
one. Yeah. I know one of the coaches, top coaches, she built her business that way, just using that referral message.
Yeah. Anna just said, so true. She notices how she gets stopped by no's. That's why she loves this group, to help combat those doubts from others. Can reverse the referral. Yeah, I took a screenshot, so I'll post it in the chat thread.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, that's so. Oh, what did you just say? The no's. I just remember hearing that no means not right now. It's kind of like the waiter. Like, you go to a restaurant, you're eating dinner, right, and the waiter comes and asks, "Do you want dessert?" They're not offended that you don't want dessert. You're just full. You ate too much at dinner. You don't want dessert. It's not anything against the waiter or their dessert or anything. And we can treat invites the same way, as that they're saying no right now, but it doesn't mean no forever. Like, if my coach would have just stopped at the 5th no and the 10th no and the 20th no, I wouldn't be here. She wouldn't have a superstar under her, right? And so just remember, like, they're saying no to themselves, which to me is like, it's something within them. Like, they're actually saying no to having this change their life. They're actually not saying no to you, and through your consistency and your passion and you're just being loud and bold with the opportunity, they then start to see the value in it, right? And that follow-up is where you really just is so powerful.
And I think why we all have to go through that, like, understanding those no's and how it's not personal, is because even when you're a leader leading these types of trainings, you guys, we have a team of almost 5,000 people. And I put these trainings out there, 30, 40 of you say yes, right? Sometimes, like, I do a little challenge and 2 people decide to take part in it. That doesn't slow me down from offering support and guidance, because I'm going to be here whenever you're ready for it. Right? Same thing. Like, I don't take it personally, and I keep showing up so that you can help those people. So when you have a no, or someone changes their mind or doesn't enroll with you, like, that doesn't change the vision you have for your future. And in fact, the more you live it out and the more you show up and keep showing up, that person that said no is now inspired by what you're doing. And so it's just part of the process we have to grow through. But the quicker we can make that mindset shift in our brains, the more success we're going to be able to bring to our life and to other people's lives, because we're not allowing those types of things to slow us down. And we talked about this on our Diamond and Above Zoom. So it's so crazy, Dara, that you put that in there about the boldness in your posts and the confidence in your posts, because it's easy to shrink because of that one person that might judge you, but there are thousands out there that need your message. And you have to be bold in that. And the more bold I am, the more people come to me and want what I have, because so few people are bold. So many shrink, that you shine brighter if you share your message with more boldness. And people need that. They don't have that confidence and that boldness in your life, but you guys have this gift to go out there and offer with coaching. Like, I don't want to talk about anything else, honestly. Like, I don't care what brand my shirt is or my pants are. Like, this has created so much freedom in my life, and it like has been the solution for all the problems. Like, it always comes back to coaching for me.
Christy, 10 years later, are you 10 years almost?
9.
So how often do you talk about coaching? I feel like you still talk about it
Every day.
every day.
Every day.
In some capacity.
Yeah. Every day. Like, if you look in my stories today, there's a coach invite, there's a shout out, like an income shout out. Depends off whether you look on Instagram or Facebook. They're a little bit different at the moment. On Instagram, it's recognition for people advancing in their business. So a lot of like our team, if I notice people are advancing, I'm shouting it out. Like, they don't even have to be my personally sponsored coach. If I know someone advances, I'm grabbing that and I'm posting about it. I'm posting about their stories. I'm posting about if they quit and they re-enrolled. Like, I'm posting about the struggles they had, because that's going to help others connect and be like, I can do it too.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell my team. Instead of just posting the graphic, people don't know what emerald means or diamond or success is. Put the story behind that, right? That's what people connect to. The National Wake Up Call is really good this morning about those stories. And so, like, get really good at sharing your story.
Mm-hmm. And I love
other stories. Be a collector of stories, right? Haven't we heard that, Christy?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys didn't get the 4 things that Dara said, the write down what your life was before coaching, where you're going with coaching, where you are now because of coaching, and talk to the person out there who needs this. I talk to the person the struggles that I had. So not the mindset that because I had a really crappy mindset when I started this. Like, I am just super, I guess, I don't know, persistent. I'm very persistent. Once I set my mind on something, it's going to happen. I'm going to figure it out. But I had a really poor mindset as far as, oh, I'm having a bad day. My life sucks. Like, those were legitimate posts I put on Facebook, not a post you would ever see from me today. Like, I generate my happiness every single day and I take full responsibility for it. Wasn't that way in the beginning, but I'm not speaking. People don't think that their mindsets are wrong. So I never speak to that. That's not going to make anyone want to sign up. What's going to make someone want to sign up is, what is the struggle that I had in the beginning with coaching that is where I am today? The struggle I had in the beginning was, I didn't want a boss telling me when I could take vacation and how much money I was going to make, because literally, if that's what I had to deal with for 40 years, I really didn't want to be here. Like, how could anyone live that way for 40 years? It just didn't make sense to me. So I speak to that. That might not be everybody's story, but I'm not trying to attract everyone. I'm trying to attract those people that think like me. They're like, I need freedom in my life. I will work hard for it. But like today, for example, I squeezed everything into 4 hours because I want to go hang out with my mom and my grandma, because my mom has to go back to work on Wednesday and I'm really sad about it. Like, no, I liked you not working. Thanks, COVID. I got more time with you. So I'm squeezing everything in so that I can go hang with her. A boss would be like, no, sorry, you're working 8 to 5. I'm going to talk about that in my stories. On Friday, my nieces wanted to go paddleboarding. So my day was done at noon. Like, squeeze everything in because I'm going out with the nieces. Like, again, a boss would have been like, no, you just had a 3-day weekend and you've had time off. No, you need to be here 8 to 5. Like, that was really important to me. Those are the things I talk about, because that's the Christy back then. I didn't know that I would change and become a different person in the process. People don't care about that though. They care about the struggle and then what's in it for them. Like, what's the vision that they can build? The personal development and growth along the way. You can start talking about it once they're a coach. Then they're like, okay, I have to grow personally and think differently to get to that vision that I'm after. Yeah, what's in it for them? Yes, Anna. Instead of talking about mindset, share the stories behind it. Yeah. Get over your damn self.
I have a quick question, and thank you, Dara, so much. This was awesome. I was just curious, and I'm so sorry if you shared this. I have a 9-month-old crawling all over me. um, what do you do when you first get new coaches started? Like, what is kind of your general process for getting them going?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's changed and evolved over the last 10 years, of it, almost 10 years. But what I do now is I have a one-page Kickstart. I used to have a very lengthy thing, and I've learned from Ray Higdon, which Christy also is he helps network marketers build baller businesses, and he's had a lot of experience. But he said just to make it really simple, I can send it to Christy and she can give it to you guys if you want. But it's just a one-pager asking how many hours they're going to dedicate, how much income they'd like to, what would what income gets them really excited. It asks about their strengths, some of their fears. So I know what to work with them on and what personal development to recommend. And then it has them create their list. So they create their list of 10 people they want to invite to a challenge group, and then 10 people they want to build the business with. And a lot of them try to send it back without the names. And I'm like, you need to put the names in here and send it back to me. So when they do that form, that shows me that they're invested, right? I'm not going to get on a call and work with someone if you're not even willing to fill out a one-page form. So one, it shows me their level of commitment, right? So they fill that out. And then from there, I will get on either a group Zoom if I have some coaches starting together, or a one-on-one, and kind of work through them. Okay, you said your hours that you're going to commit. When are we going to get your hours in? These are I run live power hours with some other top coaches. So I always have them they're 3 times a day. So I have them figure out which power hour they're going to get on, or there's recorded ones in the team Beach Buddy Champs. There's some on YouTube, but giving them those things to start learning, how to get out there and start sharing. And then I have them do their first post, right? Sharing that they're a coach. And then I have them start reaching out to the people that are liking and commenting, and really get their first group up. I want them making money, helping 3 to 5 people and making money, and seeing that this could be a fruitful business that they can earn while they learn. Does that help? Oh, and then I create pods. So then we have message chat where every day I'm giving them something. Whether it's join me for a power hour, or today share a piece of your story, or this is a podcast, listen to this, let's listen to this together. Just little things so I can stay in touch with them.
Just follow up. That was great. Thank you so much. And I would love to have that form that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send it to Christy now.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are, what was I going to say? Sorry. When you're getting them started, are you introducing the business activity tracker to them?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm sorry, what?
And adding them to your team page and that kind of stuff off the bat?
Yes, welcome to the team page. Even if they, one of the things that I think my coaches don't do, and that I think is powerful, is when someone says they want to sign up for the discount, I still add them into the team page, you guys, because what builds belief is our success stories. And so even if they're a discount coach, and maybe that's a way of saying, I don't want to build the business because that makes me scared, right? Because I'm not even where I want to be in my journey. That's generally what people say. They get into the team page and they're like, oh, she's just like me, and she's making money and helping women, and she's, we're kind of in the same place. They really start to see other success stories and see that they can be successful too. And that belief is huge. And so, yeah, everyone gets added in there. Yeah. Scroll the team page instead of social. Amen. Yeah. So I really want them to feel that sense of community outside even a challenge group. But I think the team page is just such a powerful additional community.
I always ask oh, did you want me to add you to our coaching team? And they always say yes. I've never had anybody say no, but it's also my mindset is this team page is going to be awesome for them. So that's such a great point, because then they're scrolling all of those success stories. They're scrolling the team page and seeing questions being asked and the vulnerability. And instead of just the team page community groups on Facebook show up in people's news feeds over your personal page. So the message you're trying to get through to them, now there's more social proof behind it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I do love that Facebook is showing your groups now, in the feed. And that's good. That's a good thing. Challenge group, team page, I get to see all of that. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Great questions, Cass. I'll grab that form from you.
Just sent it to you.
Oh, perfect. You're awesome. I'll also get this recording up. I'll put it up on YouTube. I'll share it to the groups, the message pod, so you guys have it. If you want to share it with any of your team, I'll probably post it in the team page as well, because this was incredible. I appreciate you. Thank you guys. Have a great week. And on Thursday, I will put up the business activity tracker check-in accountability check. And if you drop it, I'll do a one-on-one strategy session or a gift card drawing. So, and your teammates, even if they're your team, even if they're not in this group, they can post their trackers. It's kind of an extra accountability if they want to win money or one-on-one.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, have a great week.